proof that baseball is loved by an entire nation because it embodies that priceless spirit of equality that is the very backbone of America itself.
The words of Baseball Commissioner Kenesaw Mountain Landis in 1930 are as fresh and true now as they were then. America's pastime, baseball, provided America's backbone with a much-needed lift yesterday, invoking freedom spirit and raising our emotions during this time of healing. And we welcome you once again to Cardinal Baseball. We are inside Busch Stadium for Game 2 of this 3-game set with the Milwaukee Brewers. And welcome to the booth, everybody. I'm Joe Buck along with Al Roboski. It is no less exciting the day after what we experienced here last night. Everybody's talking about it across this city, across this country. Baseball was back, and it seemed very right in the world yesterday.
It really did, Joe. As part of the healing process, it was a nice diversion, and really you can look at it in many different ways. It was meaningful and necessary for the fans that were here to know that everything's okay.
There is a huge crowd on hand here tonight. When we come back, we will hear from Tony La Russa and Fernando Vina, their thoughts on last night's game, a game the Cardinals won 2-1 over Milwaukee. More in a moment. I couldn't wait to pick up the paper this morning and read the reactions of the players, the coaches, the managers from last night's game. Let's let you in on their thoughts. First, Tony La Russa about last evening's contest.
We all knew going in that the pregame was going to be special, and even seeing the script, I think we were all overwhelmed. I mean, it was done so well. So many feelings, emotions, and, you know, had the perfect guy as a master of ceremony. You know, Jack, his appointment was just perfect. And then you play the game, and, you know, you kind of, I mean, our goal as a team was just effort-wise, at least, to honor and respect the situation with doing the best we could. And you kind of hope that that's good enough, and so it was a thrilling win, and it's a night to remember.
It was, I mean, it was real emotional. I mean, for me, I was just, you know, a lot of things were going through your mind, the tragedies that went on in New York, Washington, and Pennsylvania, the people that are on the planes, their families, the people that are not even found yet. I mean, a bunch of things. So it really, man, it makes you want to break down, you know. But you had to, I tried to be tough. We were out trying to play baseball, and we had to play a game and stuff. But it was a great night. The fans here are awesome. It was great to see the police department, all of them, and the fire department, and everybody come together. And I mean, it was just a beautiful scene.
Our thanks to Tony La Russa, to Fernando Vina. We are at Busch Stadium. Game 2 coming up. The national anthem coming up when we come back. Cardinals on the field. Dustin Hermanson ready to go. And let's take a look at the lineup for the Milwaukee Brewers. They'll lead it off with Devon White. He's their center fielder. Mark Loretta bats second. Then it's Jeff Jenkins in left. Richie Sexson is the first baseman. Jeremy Burnitz is in right. Jose Hernandez the shortstop. Louis Lopez the third baseman. Henry Blanco again the catcher. And it's Jamie Wright pitching tonight for Milwaukee. This is half of the Chrysler Jeep pitching matchup. The Cardinal half is 12-game winner Dustin Hermanson.
Well, Dustin really has lost his last 3 games, but very little run support. And each of his last 3 losses and 5 of his last 6 losses, the Cardinals have scored only 1 run. But he has won 6 of his last 11 decisions.
You know that when he wakes up tomorrow, his neck will be stiff. He had it packed in heat before tonight's game, trying to loosen it up. Take a look at the Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers around the horn. Mark McGuire is at first base. Fernando Vina is at second. Across the way at third, it's Polanco. The shortstop is Edgar Renteria, who had a double last night. Out in the outfield, it's Pujols, who knocked in the game-winning run. In center field, it's Jim Edmonds, and over in right, who threw out a man at the plate and who drove in 1 run and scored the go-ahead and winning run. It's Drew with Matheny catching and Dustin Hermanson on the mound. I would imagine that the neck is an issue for the Cardinals. I know he says it's getting better, but if you have a stiff neck and it's in your mind at all, that's got to bother you.
Well, there's his last loss. And last time he pitched on September the 7th, he gave up the home run balls and a couple of them to Sean Green in that game. But you know what, Joe, I asked him, I said, you know, I said, what was the name of the movie? Because he injured it coming out of a movie theater, going down the steps Rush Hour 2, so a disclaimer, be careful when you're exiting any theater where Rush Hour 2 is.
Jackie Chan, he'll do that to you every time.
Kind of, boy, one of those karate chops.
Went to see Memento, and I sprained my brain trying to figure it out. Loved it, but I came out of there tired. Devon White will lead it off with Mark Loretta and Jeff Jenkins to follow. We will stay here, by the way, during the 7th inning stretch period. And again, the crowd will sing God Bless America. Tomorrow is a day game. Matt Morris will work against the Brewers and Jeff D'Amico. 7:14 with a start. It's a fastball for a strike to Devon White. Devon White stands in, hitting .274, 13 home runs, 44 RBI. And that's a base hit to start the night into center field, and Edmonds gets to it. Leadoff base hit. One thing has definitely carried on throughout the season, and that is first couple of inning problems for Dustin Hermanson.
And Tony, a little bit concerned about this game because there are a couple of these Brewers that hit Dustin pretty well. Loretta and Hernandez, who really have destroyed all Cardinal pitchers, but add Jenkins to that list. And Loretta and Jenkins are the next two batters to face Dustin.
Well, let's see what happens here. 1 on, nobody out. Matheny gets up on his haunches as a fly ball goes into left, and Albert Pujols makes a nice running catch. 1 away. A sinking line drive into left. That was a little tougher play than it may have looked, and it's 1 on, 1 out with slugging Jenkins coming up. And you see the numbers for Hermanson. That's more of what we talk about. First time through the lineup, hitting about .290 against him. Second time, .265. Third time, .236.
And sometimes in an effort to pace yourself, you know, you don't really get the adrenaline flowing in that first inning or two. There's been a lot of great pitchers that have struggled early in the game.
Here is Jenkins, 1 on, 1 out. And a ball up and away. 92 miles an hour from Dustin Hermanson. Cardinals are 80 and 64. They are tied with the Giants at the top of the wild card standings, and the Giants are home tonight against Houston. Couldn't be any better for the Cardinals. The check on Devon White. Devon back easily. The Cardinals, if they can win here tonight, will either be a game up in the wild card standing on San Francisco, or they will be only 3.5 out in the division.
Oh, wow.
What a jump by Devon White, and he is at second with 1 out as Devon steals the base standing up.
Well, he is a very intelligent base runner and a high success ratio, but Dustin Hermanson just gave him the base. As you see, watch the lead that Devon White, his 16th steal in 18 attempts. So, I mean, Matheny had no other choice but just to catch the ball and toss it back.
Jenkins a little late, 92 miles an hour, 2-1, and not to overblow the neck situation, but I would imagine of all the things a pitcher is asked to do working out of the stretch, if you have a stiff neck, looking over at the runner at first base and throwing over to first base could be a problem. 2 balls and a strike. Runner at second, 1 out. That's strike 2, 2-2.
Yeah, that's a very good observation, Joe. And of course, when you have a history of having a little trouble with a hitter, you're going to, you know, have a tendency to work on the hitter and forget about that base runner. Can't do either.
So Devon White at second, 1 out. It was 2-0. Now the 2-2 pitch, and Jenkins watches one in the dirt. Matheny, as he usually does, keeps it around home plate, keeps the runner at second, and it's a 3-2 count with Richie Sexton waiting on deck.
Even though that ball got well away from Matheny, the allusion to White at second base was he didn't see the ball get away from the body. And he kind of was able to kind of scoot it aside with his foot, and that's why he had to stay at second.
Here's a 3-2. You could see Matheny as he went through the signs there call for the ball up right away. Then he went through the signs, and it was what you thought it might be, a high fastball.
Yeah, and most people don't ask for hanging curveballs.
Yeah, that's why Tim McCarver always says that if you give location as a catcher, you're giving away what the pitch is. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runner at second, 1 out, and another one up, and Tim McCarver's point, I know you obviously, maybe you don't think along these lines, but McCarver's point is if you nod your head yes for the pitch and then nod your head yes again for the location, you're saying fastball because you don't move in or out with a breaking ball.
Right, and that does tell the story in many cases, Joe. And a lot of good hitters, they don't care what it is. As long as they know location, that's good enough.
Again on 3-2. And that's ball 4. 2 on, 1 out. So a hit, a stolen base, a fly ball out to left. Jenkins walks, and it's Richie Sexson who digs his way in with his 36 home runs and 102 RBIs.
Another thing that Jenkins, Sexson, Burnett, and Hernandez all have in common is strikeouts. 100 strikeouts for Jenkins, 160 for Sexson, 137 for Burnett, and an unbelievable 164 for Hernandez.
2 on, 1 out. Hermanson right down the middle. 94 miles an hour, strike 1.
Dustin's velocity is definitely increased, but sometimes he gets in trouble with that power mode.
Here comes an 0-1 pitch. That should be 2. That, it doesn't get any easier than that. Vina was playing right up the middle, a 4-3 double play, and the inning is over. That's better than the strikeout. Let's go to the bottom of the first. Cards will bat. There is no score. Bottom of the first inning. There is no score, and the Cardinals come to the plate. They will lead it off with Fernando Vina. Placido Polanco bats second. J.D. Drew hits third. Then it's Albert Pujols. Look at those numbers. Average home runs, RBIs. He's number 1 on this team. Edmonds in center. McGuire, Renteria the shortstop. Matheny and Dustin Hermanson is on the mound. On the other side of the Chrysler Jeep pitching matchup tonight is the right-hander Jamie Wright.
Jamie has really struggled since the All-Star break. 1-6 during that time. Cardinals defeated him in the last game played before, or last Monday. And Jamie is very capable of going deep in a ball game, or he's very capable of having a very short outing like he did.
It was 8-0 in a blink, and Wright was out of there. That was that Monday game, as Al talked about, prior to the Tuesday morning situation in New York, Washington, and Pennsylvania. There's a ball to Fernando Vina. 302 average, 49 RBIs. Polanco and Drew will follow. There's strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's a perfect matchup for Fernando.
In that
he likes to be hit.
Yes.
Jamie Wright likes to hit people.
Well, there you go. Here's a 1-1. And Adam off balance. A pop up into the mist, into the fog. 1 away. 73 degrees here tonight. Standing out there defensively for Milwaukee as we go around the horn. It's brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Richie Sexson is at first base. The second baseman, Mark Loretta. At third base, it's Luis Lopez. The shortstop is Jose Hernandez. And out in the outfield, it's Jeff Jenkins in left. It is Devon White in center, and over in right, it's Jeremy Burnett. The catcher is Polanco, and on the mound is Wright. Here's Polanco, and there's a base hit. You can pretty much say that every at-bat, Placido Polanco puts at least one good swing on a pitch. He may not get a hit every time, but boy, does he have a good approach every time he walks in there.
Yeah, he really does, Joey. I mean, he doesn't try to do too much. He wants to make solid contact. Look where the glove is. He misses. So normally we think of him taking the ball in the opposite field, but that ball came in on him, so he turns on it and hits it between short and third, and he's got a base hit for J.D. Drew.
So Drew has a man on with 1 out. J.D. last night very involved in the 2-1 victory. 24 home runs for the Cardinal right fielder. Ball 1.
So the one thing about Jamie Wright is he can be very wild. I mentioned that he's hit a lot of batters. 17. The only thing he did well in that last outing is it was the first time in 11 starts he did not hit a batter.
That's well outside. 2-0. You go year by year for J.D. Drew against the Milwaukee Brewers. That, my friend, is improvement. 394 in 2001, and that included last night's RBI double. He came close to 2 home runs later in the night. Actually, one to right early and one to center later. Here comes a 2-0. That's low. 3-0 with sensational rookie waiting on deck.
That's what you got to do. You've got to make sure you swing at strikes. Because Jamie Wright can get a little wild. He'll walk a lot of guys.
Is Drew swinging? Doesn't look like it. Didn't have to. Ball 4, a 4-pitch walk, and it's 2 on, 1 out. Last night it was awesome to watch 2 young starters, Bud Smith and Ruben Quevedo, on an emotional night just roll out there and pitch terrific baseball. Throw up 1-0 after another. Tonight, Dustin Hermanson got through a long first inning in some respects, and now Jamie Wright has allowed a hit, a walk, and he deals with Pujols, who is looking for home run number 35. He has 112 RBIs, and he takes a ball.
He is the team's triple crown leader, and last night with his 2-for-4 game, he now leads the club in base hits and is 3rd in the National League in hit total.
Here's a 1-0. Wright's trying to get it into the strike zone, and that's fair. That puts the Cardinals on top. Polanco easy. Drew, he can fly. Here he comes. The relay is too late. Over to third. Pujols. It's 2-0.
And a new Cardinal rookie record for RBIs for Albert Pujols. 114. Ray Jablonski this year has just been erased from the record books. Hit the ball hard. If it's at the third baseman, it could be a double play ball. But it got by him down in the corner, and here's J.D. We talked about him last night not sliding. This time he learned the lesson. He slides, and he gets around the tag. And Pujols has the play in front of him, and if he makes any mistakes, so usually by aggressiveness, he gets himself to third base. There's a lot of guys would have stayed at second.
I contend, and I've been saying this since day one, and he's made some base running mistakes, but I still think he's a good base runner, a very good base runner. Here's Edmonds. There's strike 1 with a runner at third. Yes, last night he was doubled off first, and there have been some occasions where Pujols has been locked up on the bases. But as far as knowing when to try to take the extra base, he has been fantastic this season. And that was the time to do it. He read that situation. He didn't have to rely on Oquendo. He had it in front of him. 1 ball, 1 strike with a runner at third, 1 out.
Two records were eclipsed, rookie records by Pujols. Not only the RBI record, but he also, that was his 41st double, and that breaks what? Joe Medwick, right?
Medwick. Edmonds fouls it away off to the left. It's 1-2. Albert Pujols, who wears an ankle guard when he stands at the plate, had to contend with that flopping around as he went into second base.
And then you see it falling off right at the second base bag.
Hard.
You know, Joe, you talk about him making some mistakes, but he is one guy that when he makes a mistake, he learns from it. And you know it's going to be quite a while before it's repeated.
Edmonds on 1-2. Takes ball 2. Another thing I like about Albert, Al, I'm sorry to cut you off, is he seems like he's bothered when he makes a mistake. You know, some guys just keep a smile on their face and go happily into the dugout. You can tell he is bothered when he does make a mistake on the bases. Here's a 2-2. Edmonds took ball 3.
Well, he wants to improve, and we talk about Jamie Wright, somebody you got to get to. Pujols got to Jamie Wright, but Wright is 1-6 with an ERA of 6.43 in his 12 starts since the All-Star break. And ERA is climbing here tonight.
Easier RBI opportunity for Edmonds, and he delivers with a base hit to center. It's 3-0. Pujols scores, and the Cardinals have put up a 3 spot here in the first inning.
It's 96 RBIs for Edmonds. He needs 4 more for his third 100 RBI season. So a lot of congratulations in the dugout, and a good solid piece of hitting right back up the middle. Pujols comes in. Apodaca goes to the mound to talk to Jamie Wright. And the last time Mark McGwire faced Jamie Wright in the first inning, I think it was 445 feet, his 24th home run of the season. That was in Miller Park, giving him 38 Major League parks that he's conquered via the home run.
That was one of his, might be his most impressive home run of the season. We used to just take those for granted when he would connect, and one thing that we have seen this season from McGwire is the distance on the home runs is not what it once was, and that's going to come obviously with another off season, more rest for that knee. Good numbers for the Cardinals when scoring first. Tremendous numbers for the Cardinals this season when leading after 6 innings. They're the best team in baseball when leading after 6, which might surprise people. That's ball 1, low and away to McGwire.
Well, they have that great home record in the National League, 48-26.
If it is a night honoring you with your likeness on a bobblehead doll. It was almost the lead-in I was looking for as he went just hammering at a pitch, put a good swing on it, fouled it straight back.
Well, let's see. Are our cameras on top of things? A digital camera by a fan.
Like Fellini directed. Here's a 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. That was a unique replay. Hey, where's the disclaimer copy? Huh? I think we'd have to actually sit next to her and give her a running play-by-play for it to be a copyright infringement. 2 balls and a strike on McGwire. Oh. McGwire didn't like the call. Doesn't say much in the count 2-2. In fact, said nothing except did that look into my eyes look that he had. Good numbers for McGwire against Jamie Wright. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 on, 1 out. Edmonds running, and he'll have to come back as McGwire fouls it.
Henry Blanco is one of the best throwing catchers in the league, but he has had a bad shoulder. He did not catch Jamie Wright in Milwaukee, and there was some thought that his season would be over. And Tony La Russa was very concerned about how Wright would pitch tonight. Thought it would be a great benefit having the veteran catcher back there rather than Kevin Brown. The Kevin Brown without a sinker.
Right. Here comes a 2-2. That is just scorched, but should be 2. 6-4-3. Wire isn't going to hit it much harder than that, but he hit it right at the shortstop Fernandez. Cardinals get 3. Good start in this game, and what a start to a career for Pujols. This Schnucks Day in baseball history, September 18th, 1968. A particularly good year for pitching. Cardinal hurler Ray Washburn throws a no-hitter against the Giants. Gaylord Perry had no-hit the Cardinals the day before. That's what happened on this date in 1968. Where were you in 1968?
1968.
This is not a trick question.
Well, I was, at this time in 1968, I was in Wichita, Kansas, playing semi-pro ball.
First year in the big leagues was 70?
1970. Signed in 1969 with the Redbirds.
Hi, I'm Joe. Good to meet you.
Hey.
Here's Jeremy Burnett.
And who was changing your diapers?
68? Hey. I was not.
No, I mean in 71.
71, my mom.
Look at the bobblehead.
Burnett stakes a strike over the outside corner. While we're talking about changing diapers, I want to congratulate the Minklers, Rob and Jody Minkler, two very dear friends, birth of their daughter Katie Lynn Minkler. Yesterday, last night at 9:30, 8 pounds 9 ounces. Mama Jody and baby Katie are doing well, and Rob is at home watching the Cardinal game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Burnett, 2 balls and a strike.
See, life's getting back to normal.
It is. Burnett, Hernandez, and Lopez. If anybody gets on Blanco. After that, the pitcher Wright. They play Burnett's to pull on 2-1. He comes up empty. 2-2. Boy, nobody takes a swing like this guy.
No.
And he can hit the ball a long way, and he can also do a lot of swinging and looking behind him.
Been more productive in the past.
Almost walked right into that pitch. 3-2. He begs for that. But now the count's full. Hermanson to the leadoff hitter. Had him played well. Vina to his right. The vacuum takes care of it. 1 away.
You know, watching a lot of upper body movement, and then he starts striding in towards the outside pitch. And he kind of jammed himself. On an outside pitch, he jammed himself.
He does not particularly care where the ball is thrown.
Sometimes he even has his eyes open.
Here's Jose Hernandez. Now you're kidding, and you're going to hear from him. There's a base hit into the right field corner by Hernandez. And Drew will get it back in after a 1-out double. Nothing new. We talked about it last night. In fact, he got the first hit of the night last night. And for the Brewers, he gets their second of the evening. As you look at Rod Carew, one of the greatest contact hitters in the history of this game. Right in the middle, he is the hitting coach for a team that doesn't make very good contact.
Oh, I mean, he's got to be absolutely frustrated. 7-time batting champion, over 3,000 hits. Just a man that said he would never go into a prolonged hitting slump because he had a great ability to bunt.
Lopez pops it into shallow left. That might fall. Pujols can't get to it. It gets behind him. Hernandez will go to third. Into second is Lopez, and it's second and third, 1 out. Albert just could not get there. Gave it a good effort. Hernandez, I'm not so sure, gave it a good effort at all, leading off second base.
Off-speed pitch, gets a little pop-up out here, but you're running in a very wet track, and so he's running hard, but he's not making much ground. And then ball short hops him, gets by him. So one thing you've got to, if you're going to slide, you've got to make sure you keep that ball right in front of you. But there's no lack of effort there from Albert.
Back-to-back doubles and no damage done yet. Second and third with 1 out. Here is Blanco with a pitcher coming up. Hermanson can still get out of this. Ball 1.
Blanco got the only RBI last night with a infield ground out. Actually hit a little nubber that got over the mound, and Renteria had to charge, made the play, but a run scored.
Here's a 1-0. Like Hermanson took something off that pitch. 1-1.
At Dustin, I think what's really turned the corner for him as a pitcher is to get away from the power mentality. Even though he could throw that fastball in the 90s, it's the changeup to go along with the very good breaking ball.
Second and third, 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. Strike 2. Looked like the same pitch.
Yeah, it was the same pitch. Little bit of variance, but a lot of these hitters are guess hitters, Joe, and sometimes you guess wrong.
So now a 1-2 pitch.
3 in a row.
Yep, and a 2-2 count. If Hermanson is going to rear back and try to blow it by this hitter, I would expect that to come here now. Second and third, 1 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes with a pitcher next. Like the same pitch again, a fly ball into right. Drew is coming. Will they send the runner? He is not coming, and with a pitcher coming up, that's a big out. Second and third, 2 down, as Drew made an accurate throw, a strong throw, and the most important part, as we talk about all the time, getting to it, getting rid of it is all you have to do.
Joe, that was the whole thing. The last 2 games, last night and the last game Monday in Milwaukee, threw out runners at home plate. So they're going to be a little gun shy. Tries to get behind it, get his momentum coming forward. He threw it right into the dirt, but the point being is he came up, he fired, no hesitation, and that's going to stop most runners.
Now it's up to Jamie Wright, who is 12 out of 59, so he can handle the bat a bit. 4 RBIs, strike 1.
Yeah, don't take him lightly. He's batting over 200, and he set a franchise record with his 12th hit.
So he is a threat. Got a better average than the guy hitting in front of him. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You're going to win at this level, though. Your mindset is you can conquer any pitcher. Stand in that batter's box.
There are the runners. 2 doubles in the inning, but no runs yet. Hermanson's made some good pitches, 1 and 2. He certainly isn't taking Wright lightly.
We know these guys are well prepared. And isn't it interesting, this late in the season, the Cardinals' team ERA is right at 4.
Here's a 1-2. Polanco charges it, so he gets the high hop. That ends the inning. Good work by Hermanson. Boy, is he pumped. As he exits, 2 doubles in the inning, no runs. Still 3-0 St. Louis. 3-0 Cardinals, bottom of the second. Good work by Dustin Hermanson to get around 2 doubles. The Midwest Sports Report is coming up right after this game. And let's see what they have on tap for us tonight. Kevin Slayton sounds off. The league's toughest out. And back to business for the Rams. They'll be at San Francisco this weekend, a late start. So we go to the bottom of the second, and Edgar Renteria will be first up. And we will give you our Budweiser What's on Tap. The crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. Cardinals, Pirates, Friday night, 5:30 with Cardinals tonight on Fox Sports Net. Renteria first up.
Yeah, Edgar Renteria he was 2 for 2 on last night's game. And looks at ducks underneath the high breaking ball. Renteria has hit safely in 32 his last 41 games, 327 during that time, including the 2 hits last night.
So let's see what he gets with a 1-0 count. Wright was behind hitters throughout the first inning, and it cost him 1 ball, 1 strike here. Anheuser-Busch, our friends at Anheuser-Busch, who really help bring you Cardinal baseball night after night, has replaced their signage here at the ballpark, where that was a Budweiser sign out in left center field. One behind the plate with the waving American flag. Nice touch. 1 ball, 1 strike, and that's low and away, 2-1. There are no shortages of American flags. I know that stores are running out of them, but everywhere you look. 2 balls and a strike. Renteria takes ball 3, and you can see why Wright has struggled.
Well, its control is a major factor. And you know, Joe, as you look at the flags there in the KMOX booth.
That's a strike, 3-2.
You know, it's great to see how this nation has come together. It's just, you just wish it would have come together under different circumstances. And we all have a lot of reasons to be thankful.
Here's the 3-2. That's back up the middle, and Hernandez got to it. Good play. 1 out. The red hot new issue of Cardinals Game Day magazine features J.D. Drew on the cover and a poster in the middle. You'll also meet Craig Paquette in this month's issue and spend a day with the Cardinals grounds crew. Subscribe today and receive every Cardinals Game Day magazine through August of next season. Call the Cardinals. Operators are standing by now. 314-982-7336. 1 out, nobody on. Here is Matheny after Marrero caught last night. That's strike 1. Eli Marrero getting pretty regular work these days. Matheny's workload has been cut a bit because of the way Marrero has done, not only at the plate, but certainly behind it. He has called some of the better games the Cardinals have thrown this season.
And yet Mike has been contributing a little more offensively. On a four-game hitting streak. And Joey has an RBI in 5 straight games.
Well, it's starting to rain. Miss. I'll give it miss. But there is precipitation. No balls, 2 strikes. Matheny fouls it away. Wind is blowing from right to left. A lot of the storm evidently is blown north. That's the way the wind is going.
And I think that they knew about 7:30 there would be some scattered showers in the area, but I don't think anything.
No. Yeah.
Oof, long enough.
Don't. Here's an 0-2 pitch. Matheny. 2 out. And Wright gets the first strikeout of the night. Matheny is the man helping on the other end, and here comes Hermanson.
I know in your Knicks life what you're coming back at.
Oh, meteorologist?
Yes, your favorite occupation.
Said many times on this fine cable station that I made the mistake of picking off the meteorologists of the world, and I got a letter of response. So all I do now is I don't share my opinions publicly.
See, sometimes it's an advantage not to be able to read.
Here's a strike. And you're, of course, referring to yourself.
Yes, yes.
Hermanson is hitting .089. This guy hasn't had a hit since the Cardinals were in Arizona. Just kidding, Dustin. That's a foul ball. 0-2.
Well, he has, Joe. He's had 3 since then.
He had 2 in that first start, 2 in 1 inning.
2 in 1 inning.
If you go back to that time, you remember the Cardinals. Well, how long ago did that start of the
6
season?
months.
0-3. Think of all that's transpired since then. 0-3 at the start of the season. And then they went to Phoenix and swept 3 in a row. Hermanson got the first win of the season, and he really helped himself with a bat. This is a tester for Hernandez, guides it across, and the Cards go in order in the second. Who won that final game of that series? Rick Ankiel. He beat Randy Johnson. We go to the third here. We go to the top of the third inning. It's a 3-0 Cardinal lead. The best doggone sports show, period. I'm not going to say the other word. Weeknights at 7:30 and 11:30 right here on Fox Sports Net. Chris Rose is on it. He's the host. So's John Kruk, pictured there. So's Tom Arnold. Jay Moore is on it from time to time. I've seen Deacon Jones on it. Reggie Theus is on it from the NBA. And my dad and I had a chance to go on it last night. They're good guys, and it's a fun show. The best damn sports show ever. Weeknight 7:30, 11:30, right here on Fox Sports Net. You should check it out.
You had a chance to go on, but did you go
We
on?
did, yes.
Okay.
We had the chance, and we made the most of that chance and went on talking to, we had 3 of them, Rose, Kruk, and Tom Arnold. There's Mike James signing autographs and Steve Klein making new friends. That guy can make friends anywhere.
He's the mayor of the bullpen.
He is. He is great. I mean, he'll talk to you.
Hey.
Fans actually say, hey, Steve, you know, it's a pleasure meeting you, but I got to go. Could you leave me alone for a minute?
Can you keep your hat a little way away from me?
That's another thing. He's not allowed to wear that down there. Here's Devon White trying to bunt his way on, and that's strike 1. Steve, it really is a pleasure meeting a big league ball player, and thanks for the 15 autographs, but if you could just leave us alone, we're trying to enjoy the game. Yep, I cleared that up. Have some seeds and go back and talk to somebody else. 0-1 the count on Devon White. Steve Klein should be signed to a lifetime personal services contract now. I don't care if he pitches another game. The guy just needs to be part of the organization.
I'll echo that all the way. But you're almost making him sound like Tony Fosses.
There's nobody like Tony Fosses.
Steve Klein last night pitched in his 80th ball game, and that's 3 consecutive years he's had 80-plus appearances.
Ball and 2 strikes on Devon White. Devon, first time up, singled, stole a base with 1 out. After a walk, Sexton bounced into a 4-3 double play. That's foul, and it's still 1-2. Last night, watching Steve Klein interviewed after the game by Brent Stover, and the word was to Brent, don't talk at all about the game, just tell us about what it was like pitching in the game and being a part of the night and participating on a night like we had here last night on the 17th. And Steve Klein could hardly get through it, and I think a lot of us had those same feelings that he had. He is a wonderful guy, and it was fitting in my mind that he got the last 4 outs and got the save. 2 balls, 2 strikes from Hermanson. Dave Veers is back.
New dad.
2-2 pitch. White in a battle with Dustin Hermanson.
Veers is got the new addition to the family. A little boy entering the world on Friday. Asked Tony about his status and his high hamstring pull, and he said feels better, but probably the Pirate series.
That's pretty well hit to center. Edmonds back. Is it enough? At the wall. Goodbye. It's a 3-1 game. Devon White, boy, did he battle for that. He earned that home run. And Devon White goes deep for the 14th time this season. And for Dustin Hermanson, he allows his 32nd home run of the year.
Yeah, it's one area where Dustin has allowed an awful lot of home runs. Devo, his 14th home run, 45th RBI, and he earned it. He hit this to dead center field, and even with the cooler temperatures, the mist in the air, it had enough to get out and get out by plenty.
Look at how far Jim Edmonds was away from that ball. There's a strike to Mark Loretta. Edmonds was on the right side of the 402 mark as we look at it from here, and that ball was on the left side of it. He wasn't within 25 feet of it. Obviously wasn't going to catch it, but he was nowhere near it. 0-2 the count, which is odd for a guy who I consider the best center fielder in the game.
Yeah, see where he's looking up, and in that angle you really couldn't tell, but that was 15-20 feet to his left.
Here's an 0-2. And I think a lot of it has to do with the wind. That's really the only reason why I bring it up. But the wind is just howling from right to left. And look where Edmonds is, and look where this ball ends up.
These are the corner of the right field bleachers, and that ball was straight away center field in the batter's backdrop.
Here comes an 0-2 to Loretta. And that hurt. Looks like he got it on the knee.
It jammed him, and it looked like fouled it off his knee. Loretta's one of these good hitters, but has a hard time staying healthy. Watch the left knee. Oh, yep, right on top. This one you don't want to be a catcher.
Yeah.
Getting hit on the knee, and sometimes catchers do catch a foul ball, and it appears it'll go off their shin guard, but there's overlaying flaps, and sometimes a ball can get right in between, and when you're trying to squat, that's not a comfortable feeling.
So it's still 0-2 on Loretta. Theny and Loretta, former teammates in Milwaukee. Breaking ball in the dirt for ball 1. After Loretta, there's nobody out in the inning. It'll be Jenkins and Sexton. Look at the other scores, interesting scores, and The one that really jumps out at you. Well, they're 2 now. Cincinnati leads in the 7th inning at home over the Cubs 3-1. And the other is the Philadelphia score again. Loretta with a check on Renteria. In the hole. 1 out. Philadelphia, which beat Greg Maddux last night 5-2. They are leading Tom Glavine tonight in the 6th inning on the manually operated scoreboard. 2-0. They could be only a game and a half out at the end of the night with 2 games left in that series at the Vet. Meanwhile, look who's back alive in the National League East, the New York Mets. They have really made up ground. Time may run out on them. The season may run out on them, but they start the day only 7 games out in the division, and that is really saying something, comparing that to where they were a month ago. An 0-1 to Jenkins, 1-1.
Interesting thing would be if they did get close, would they be able to sustain the win?
Well, I know they have 6 games left with Atlanta, and they're only 7 games behind them right now. That makes it 1-2 on Jenkins.
The way Philadelphia is playing, though, you wonder if they need to be chasing Philadelphia.
New York has the easiest schedule down the stretch outside of the games with Atlanta, which they won. As Hermanson bounces one in to make it 2-2. One out, nobody on. And Jenkins, who walked his first time up, waits for a 2-2 pitch. Between he and Burnett, I don't know who swings harder. These are 2 left-handed batters that I think have the most vicious swings in baseball. I don't know anybody. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head who swing the bat any harder than these 2 guys, and they're in the same lineup. Here's a 2-2.
Right on cue for you.
94 miles an hour, and Jenkins must have the loosest back in the league.
I'll just ball up and look at this vicious swing. I'll guarantee you he'll never have a stiff neck.
Sadahara with that leg kick. Oh, that caught the umpire.
Mike Riley.
He's mad. And Hermanson's ticked off because Riley just fired an 88-mile-an-hour fastball right back at him, like it was Hermanson's fault. Hermanson stared in after the home plate umpire took the new ball out of his bag, and I mean, he was what, 45 feet away from him, and just unleashed a throw back at Hermanson. Here comes a 3-2, and for the second time Jenkins draws a walk. So 2 walks, and that brings in Sexton. And with 1 on, 1 out, Richie Sexton will dig in, representing the tying run. We go back to the Devon White home run pitch.
I see a lot of times these left-handers, and he's a switch hitter, but he's batting left-handed. They want that ball down and in, or a ball in the middle half in and down, and Dustin just served one right there. It was 93, but these guys are too good.
Sexton now takes a ball outside. Richie bounced into a double play his first time. Our friends at Oral Health America's National Spit Tobacco Education Program would like to remind you that smokeless does not mean harmless. 1 on, 1 out, tying run at the plate, and this is a guy the Brewers won up there with 36 home runs and 102 RBIs as Hermanson made him look bad. 1-1.
They locked him up on a breaking ball. Probably might have even backed up a little bit. They feel if they can get ahead of him, then they can get him to expand his zone and he'll chase balls.
That's too far. The expansion idea, and down to second on a wild pitch is the runner Jenkins.
I think Mike yelled a few things out at Dustin, but way off the mark. Now, is that a reflection to the neck? He would have had a hard time hitting a left-handed batter. That would have been behind him. But well off the mark.
This goes to show you, though, when you hear people say, well, he intentionally hit him. These guys know exactly where they're going to put the ball from pitch to pitch. That's not true. 2 balls and a strike with Burnitz next. A runner at second with 1 out. 2-2. That pitch that's been floating up there with a break to it, 79, 81 miles an hour, has been Dustin's best pitch of the night. What does he feature on 2-2? 3-1, the Cardinals lead here in the 3rd inning. Sexson. Goodbye. Another strikeout for Richie Sexson. An important strikeout for Dustin Hermans in his first of the night. And it'll be up to Burnitz.
Trying to expand the strike zone. Even though he's 6'7", his wingspan isn't that great.
So Dustin Hermanson gets a needed out as Sexson strikes out for the 161st time of the season. And with a runner at second, 2 out, it's Burnitz. Ball 1 low. Jim Thome leads the American League, as he does from time to time, in strikeouts with 163. Jose Hernandez, the man on deck, leads the National League with 164. That's foul. 1-1. So it's Jose Hernandez and Richie Sexson and Jeremy Burnitz in the top 6 in strikeouts in the National League.
Joe, I mentioned come into this game, they have an opportunity, not one they want, but to become the first team in Major League history to have more strikeouts than hits. And Rod Carew is anti-strikeout. I mean, these guys, I think Sexson and Hernandez.
That's ball 2.
Have struck out more times, I think it's this year, than Rod Carew's last 7 years of playing.
How many hitting coaches have the Cardinals gone through trying to get, as if it makes
It doesn't make any difference.
that big of a difference with these guys swinging and missing? But that, I mean, it's not just the Brewers who are having trouble with that, as Burnitz pops it up to end the inning. Edmonds comes on to get it, playing the wind. You can see him adjust, and that ends the inning. A home run in the inning to start it by Devon White is the only damage. A walk, a man left. The Brewers have left 4. With this swing and this contact, the Brewers are on the board, down by 2.
For all you Ducks Unlimited members, don't forget that Sunday, October the 7th, is DU Day at the ballpark. There's a picnic, raffle, and auction of Cardinals and Ducks Unlimited merchandise. And don't forget that on the 7th is also the Mark McGwire Bobblehead Day for kids 15 and under. For more information or to order your tickets, call the Ducks Unlimited Ticket Center at 314-425-0699. Joe Loretta's out of the game, so apparently that foul ball off his knee is tough. Lopez moved from 3rd to 2nd, and Collier is now the new 3rd baseman.
Luke Collier is in the lineup batting 2nd. Last night he was in the lineup leading off. Leading off here is top man in the order, Fernando Vina. There's Collier, who's the 3rd baseman. 1 ball, 1 strike. 3rd base seems to be a hole for the Milwaukee Brewers in their lineup. We've got Loretta playing 2nd base.
Tyler Houston's been hurt. Remember Belliard is hurt. They're out for the season.
Belliard and his presence is the reason why the Cardinals were able to make a deal and get Fernando Vina, and that has certainly worked out well for St. Louis.
Avery Lopes has seen a lot of injuries, but they have made some strides on this ball club.
Here's a 1-2. 2-2. Wright still seems to be feeling for the breaking ball and his control here in the early innings. We're in the third. The Cardinals lead 3-1. Vigna. It's ball 3. These pitches aren't close. Bruised left knee from Mark Loretta. After fouling a pitch off that left knee, let's see what Vigna does on 3-2. He battles. Jamie Wright in his career 41-52. I'll mention he started against the Cardinals last Monday. He is 1-5 in his history against the Cardinals with an ERA over 6. That's a good start to the inning. A leadoff walk, and Vigna showed a good batting eye there. Our Hyundai dealers' key matchup tonight is the Cardinals' home and road record. You alluded to it earlier. The Cardinals here at home, and you can look at their overall numbers. You start to look at individual numbers. Two guys jump out at me. Matt Morris and what he does here on the mound. Jim Edmonds and what he does here at Busch Stadium at the plate.
Yeah, but the Cardinals are going to get to postseason. Those road numbers have to improve.
Polanco now, 1 on, nobody out. Whoa, breaking ball. Obviously unintentional. Ball 1. Tell you, we're going to look at that pitch on Pitch Tracks.
That's a breaking ball that just got away. Very similar to a lot of the breaking balls that he threw when Vigna was up there at the plate. It's just that Polanco's a right-handed batter, so it's above his head.
Here is a throw to first, and Vigna gets back. I'm more convinced now, Al Raboski, that this team is going to the postseason more now than at any point this season or leading into this season.
I agree with you. You know, they're going to have to continue just to be methodical in the way they're playing. But they have a very sound approach right now and very businesslike.
That's off the plate. Collier takes it in foul. You know, the Cardinals are well suited in this situation with a game of baseball, with that week layoff, with Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan. I think this is their real strong suit. I think their planning and their attention to detail, trying to work the rotation. I don't know any combination of guys that work a rotation trying to match up more than those two guys. And like La Russa and Duncan did in '89 with the Earthquake World Series in that layoff of over a week, 10 days was the layoff. They end up here, I think, having this team ready to go in this third phase of the season after the week off. Runner goes, and he'll have to come back on the foul ball.
Yeah, Joe, there's an aspect, too, where even though we have some young players and they're contributing extremely well, Tony always likes that veteran presence, guys that have been in postseason play, guys that know how to gut it out, how to close out a season, and how to bring along the youngsters and make them realize the importance of finishing on a winning note and finishing the job that you start in spring training.
1 on, nobody out. And Polanco with a line drive for the out. I haven't given this a whole lot of thought, Al, and I don't know if I truly believe it as Drew walks in. But as far as the guy on deck, Albert Pujols, I think he has had more of an influence on the veterans on this team than they have had on him.
Yeah, I agree with that, because I think they've fed off of him and saying if he can do the things that he's doing, and he acts like, you know, that nothing phases him. And Bud Smith, much the same way. Nothing phases these young kids. Then I think they all can learn from it.
Cubs have come back down 3-1. They lead 4-3 in the 7th at Cincinnati.
Pittsburgh has a 4-3 lead over the Mets, too.
And it's 2-1 now. Philadelphia over Atlanta in the bottom of the 7th in Philadelphia. So we are headed down the stretch. The Cardinals have 17 games left, including tonight. That's a strike, a wide strike, 1-1 on Drew, who walked and scored his first time up.
Wasn't that long ago that to think 90 wins was a real stretch. That's 10-7, and the way this team is playing, you expect them to play better than that percentage.
Nice piece of hitting by Drew as he goes with it. Vina holds at second. It's 2 on, 1 out. We haven't seen JD do a whole lot of that this season in what has been a breakout offensive season, but that was pretty.
Think about this swing compared to the wild, vicious swings of Burnitz and Jenkins. Somebody that doesn't want to strike out. Somebody who wants to put the ball on the plate, or somebody thinks an out's an out.
A good point. Now with 2 on, 1 out, here's Pujols. Albert, a 2-run double, his first time up. He has the Cardinals rookie record with his 114 RBIs. Tied it last night. And that's ball 1 low. Here's a guy who, with J.D. Drew, Jim Edmonds, Mark McGwire in the same lineup, is the solid cleanup hitter night after night.
I said it last night. You know, get into certain opportunities. I said Drew and Pujols was our best chances.
Too far inside. It's 2-0. We're in the bottom of the third. It's a 3-1 Cardinal lead. They're the two you talk about, J.D. Drew, Albert Pujols. Two of the younger players, along with Bud Smith, helping the Cardinals to a win here last night. That is ball 3, and you can see the respect that the Brewers have for Albert Pujols. Wright is being awfully careful, and you've got a guy red hot waiting in the on-deck circle.
Well, the tough thing is when you have a guy that's struggling with his command, and then he's trying to be very careful, that spells pitching behind in the count.
What do you think? Is he wailing away? You bet. And a little clunker to third is a foul ball. Probably was a hit. But it's a foul ball, and it's going to be first and second with 1 out and a 3-ball, 1-strike count. Al brought it up. Very good point, comparing Drew's swing with that of Jeff Jenkins.
Well, we're talking about Drew trying to make contact and Jenkins trying to hit the ball of the ballpark. You know, we're not trying to pick on anybody, but watch Jenkins on your left. I mean, the head's flying, swinging from his heels, and here trying to make contact. You understand why one's on base.
2 on with 1 out, 3 balls and a strike on Pujols. Edmonds will follow. That is right down the middle, 3-2. And Albert upset he let that thing pass.
Sometimes you outguess yourself.
Surely he was thinking to himself, I'm not going to get a 3-1 fastball right down the middle.
My name's Al.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Will the runners go? They are going as a fly ball is hit to deep right. At the wall, he has done it again. Number 35. A 5 RBI night for the rookie, and the Cardinals open it up 6-1. Only 3 home runs shy of the National League rookie record of 38.
Joe, here, that's another one that's reachable, the National League home run record. Something else. As you see here, the home run, an opposite field, 3-run blast that reaches the second deck. Right on the outside corner, but a controlled swing and a drive, and they're waiting for a curtain call, and here it is. He is now, Joe, 22 total bases away from tying Dick Allen's 1964 National League rookie record of 352 total bases in a season.
Just get out the record book, line up all the rookie records, and watch this kid put together one of the best rookie seasons in the history of baseball. A strike to Edmonds, and the count's 1-1.
Well, I said it last night. He is having the greatest rookie season of any Cardinal in their illustrious history.
Edmonds loves the ball up, missed it, 1-2. .370-foot home run the opposite way, and it's 6-1. So here's Wright, who comes into this game 1-5 in his career against the Cardinals with an ERA of 6.27. In the third, he's allowed 6 runs on 5 hits, and there's help getting ready for the Brewers out in their bullpen. 1 out, bases clear now, and a 2-ball, 2-strike pitch headed into Edmonds. That's foul. In case you're wondering, the appearance on your screen with that smoke, that's from the fireworks and all the wind blowing around in downtown St. Louis. It's kind of keeping the smoke inside the park. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on. And Edmonds didn't want to, but he did. 2 out. Second strikeout for Wright. The batter will be McGuire. Edmonds striking out after Pujols now went the opposite way, right into the wind, and got it out and right. Now, it's not like it is at Wrigley, but we have seen the ball move tonight with the wind, and he hit it right into the teeth of it.
He never got it up high enough. It was line drive and carried.
Crowd groans, but another breaking ball, and Wright just does not have a feel for that pitch.
And I know Tony, whether it's any of his players, I was in Tony's office when we were watching some video of Vasquez getting hit in the face last night. Outstanding pitcher from Montreal, and he kind of turned on an inside pitch. He was pitching a shutout.
He's one of the best pitchers in the game.
Yes, he is. He had a 6-0 lead and ended up giving up 10 runs in the next inning.
That's blowing away. 2 balls and a strike.
And he fractured his eye socket.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Here's a 2-1. Now it's 3-1, and Jamie Wright may be approaching the end of his night. He's in a bad spot here. Needs to get an out to stay in the game. Now he needs to groove a pitch on 3-1 to the single season home run king. What happens? A pop-up to the right side. It's a foul ball. The wind is pushing it back in play, and Sexton can't get to it. So it's 3-2.
He can't reach it.
Nobody can.
C.B. Buckner, the first base umpire, is trying to get over there and make sure they will allow him to have the opportunity to reach around the tarp and into the stands, but
no interference there.
And you could see the fans, even though they're trying to catch a souvenir, weren't blatantly trying to screen him.
So now it's a 3-2 pitch to McGuire with 2 out. Oh, it called him out.
Oh,
breaking
man.
ball. Almost looked like Mike Riley knew it. He called him out and started to walk away. Knew it, meaning that pitch didn't look very good. But let's talk about happy things. Number 35 for the rookie at 6'1". Our Aflac trivia question tonight is a good one and appropriate. Who was the last Cardinal rookie to lead the team in average home runs and RBIs? I say that because Albert Pujols is doing that right now, and we'll let you think about that for a moment. And we will give you a look at the concentration, the looks on the faces of Devon White and Albert Pujols on home runs.
Devo, Devon White, see where his eyes are, riveted at point of contact. Look at outside pitch to Pujols, and look at his eyes are. How many times we tell somebody in your foursome, you're golfing, you say, hey, you just keep your head on the ball. We'll tell you where it goes.
That's right. I've heard that said to me plenty. Here's Jose Hernandez, and there's a breaking ball. Pretty good pitch, called ball one. Jose doubled his first time up. Back-to-back doubles with one out for the Brewers in the second, but they did not score. Now they trail by 5. There's a strike. 1-1. Hermanson has bounced a couple of breaking balls up there tonight, but he has had that last pitch he threw in there working for him for the most part all evening, as Hernandez hits it deep to center, and Edmonds goes and gets it. One away. Allowed out. The Casino Queen leaderboard, the starting pitcher's win percentage. The Cardinals have 80% of their victories from their starting rotation. Kansas City, let's round up, 79%. Oakland, 76%. Woody Williams, what an addition he has been. So much so, Al, that Tony La Russa has manipulated the rotation so that he is part of the trio facing Houston twice.
Yeah, and you could also envision, with the way Woody is added to Morris and Kyle, Bud Smith, and with the experience Dustin Hermanson has in the bullpen, you could put Dustin as another added weapon down there in the pen.
Well, he's closed before. He did so last year with Montreal for a short while, as did Steve Klein. He definitely has that mentality. But Woody Williams has really helped.
Well, it's another guy, Joe, that has that experience in clutch games.
Lopez takes a ball up and away, 1-2. Former Toronto Blue Jay before he was a San Diego Padre. And now a Cardinal. One, two. Lopez went. Lopez can't argue with that. 2 out. That's the second strikeout for Hermanson. 2 out, nobody on, and Blanco, the number 8 hitter, will bat. There's no doubt about this one.
No doubt. And go around. 6-1 game with precarious weather report helps solidify that he went around.
Here's Blanco taking a ball low. You can see Matheny asking for an appeal with the thumb behind his head as he was reaching down to get the ball in the dirt. Home plate umpire Mike Radley did appeal, and the strike 3 call was given. 2 balls, no strikes on Blanco as Jesse Levis has come into the on-deck circle. He would hit for the pitcher right if the inning continues past Blanco. 2-1. Blanco is hitting 195, so Hermanson would like to retire him for the second time tonight and end it right here. That's over but low, and it's 3-1.
I get the feeling now with the 6-1 ball game and the fact that Dustin has kind of wore himself down a little bit. He's got more command of his off-speed pitches.
He could swing. 3-2. Kind of the mood and the pose for Dave Duncan these days. Things are pretty good with his group.
Yep.
Giving himself a manicure there, not out of stress, but just out of necessity.
You know, he's seen these guys, and it prepares them very well. Game plan how to retire hitters, how to approach a game.
Will the inning end here? Not yet. He's got to play.
I know Dave Duncan probably was a little more comfortable with this matchup, more so than Tony La Russa. As Tony was telling me that he's really worried about Hermanson, the neck, the fact that Loretta, Jenkins, and Hernandez hitting very well. Fourth best ERA in the National League.
Here's a 3-2. Goodbye. Blanco is gone in a 1-2-3 inning for the first time tonight for Dustin Hermanson. He hops off the mound. Third strikeout. Bottom of the fourth. 6-1 Cardinals. Gus Gandarias will take over for the Milwaukee Brewers. 6-1 the Cardinals lead. Bottom of the fourth. And as Gandarias takes over, he will deal with the bottom part of the order. Renteria, Matheny, and Hermanson. They're the numbers for Gus. And Al Raboski is prepared to tell you all that he knows about Gus Gandarias.
Hang on, I'll tell you. We saw him in that game in Milwaukee.
He's pitched a scoreless 7th and 8th innings.
Pitched 2 innings in that
Scoreless
ball
7th
game.
and 8th innings.
Oh, that makes 2, right?
That's right.
He's from Florida. He's 30 years old. He has lied about his weight.
183.
He's a little heavier than that.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
185. 190. 186.
Yeah.
Here's Renteria first up. And a fly ball into right. Here comes Burnett. So that ball just carried, and Jeremy almost lost it in the lights.
Well, if you read the paper today, J.D. Drew was not making an excuse, but he said that that ball last night that he misplayed got up in the lights, and if you looked at the way Burnett's went after that, he obviously lost that ball in the lights. A helpless feeling. The last second you say, well, here's where it was. You throw your arm up and hope it lands in your glove. 1
out, nobody on for Matheny. I like the fact, whether he said it or not during the game, that I'm going to get that run back for you.
I believe he did.
Yeah, what the heck? And he did. He did that and more.
You know, you go up to a pitcher and you do say things like that in the course of the game. And if you're a pitcher after one of your position players that you know is always busting his tail trying to help you out, after they do make a miscue, your responsibility as a pitcher is to say to yourself, or even to the player, I'm not going to let that come back and haunt us.
The 2-0 is right on the corner. 2-1 from Gandarias.
By the way, you hungry?
I guess. My gosh, we've been fortified.
Jim Sill and his staff from Pizza Hut brought.
They're hot.
They're hot. I know. My seat feels pretty good. It was sitting on my seat.
Here comes a 2-ball, 1-strike pitch to Matheny. 3-1 with Hermanson on deck.
For once, we can get the guys in the truck.
I already showed it to him.
You already showed it to him?
I opened it up and showed it to him.
I'm surprised they didn't send somebody up here to confiscate it.
3 balls and a strike. See what Matheny can do. The average is up to 220. Struck out his first time up and got a good swing at that. 3-2. We will answer our trivia question after Mike Matheny does something here with 1 out in the 4th inning. Remember that trivia question? The last Cardinal rookie to lead the team in average home runs, RBIs. Has there ever been a rookie who led the Cardinals team in average home runs, RBIs? There's a 1-out walk. That'll give Hermanson a chance to bunt. Our Aflac trivia question. There's the question. Do you know the answer?
I think right off the top of the head, we'll say we hope that Pujols has the same type of career that Roger Hornsby had.
And then we will be visiting his bust in Cooperstown.
Absolutely. I said, and those numbers, even the Hall of Famer Raja doesn't come close. The greatest rookie season of any Cardinal in their history.
Different era in the game.
Different style of play.
1 on, 1 out. Hermanson drops down a beauty. We'd love to do that every time. 2 out. Sacrifice is good. 3 unassisted. Vina will bat. The crowd appreciates that effort. Down at second in RBI position is Matheny for Vina. Cardinal team was on a roll prior to that week layoff, and it appears that they are picking up right where they left off.
Yeah, the Cardinals have won 4 straight games, 7 of their last 8, 9 of their last 12.
Runner at second, 2 out. Vina up the middle, base hit. Can Matheny score? Here he comes. Throw by Devon White. Not good enough. Down to second, Vina. It's 7-1. RBI number 50 for Fernando Vina.
Send that off-speed pitch, kind of hung up a little bit, right back up the middle. Matheny, you know, is not quick, but it's a wet track out there, so Devo has to be a little more cautious. He makes a throw, and Vina was going to go on to second, trying to get Sexton to try and cut it off, and the ball got away from Sexton anyway, and he ends up going to second as the run scores.
So now Polanco with a 6-run lead. Into center field, another run. It's 8-1 as Vina comes home. Polanco RBI number 35. And he gets hung up between first and second and tagged out to end the inning. Cardinals lead it 8-1. They come up with a little 2-out rally. RBI hits by Vina and Polanco. Cardinals have opened it way up, lead by 7. It's an 8-1 Cardinal lead as we move to the 5th inning here in St. Louis. From the waving of the American flag to the last word. Jim Rome hosts the last word weeknights at 11 p.m. right here on Fox Sports Net. Two people just got engaged at the ballpark.
Yeah. Things are back to normal. Hey, we're even giving birthday wishes again. Norma Despain had a birthday yesterday. Want to wish her a happy birthday. Also, let's see, what's his name? Where is he? Oh, Ben Talley was 55 years old yesterday. All of his fans, he's a big Cardinal fans. They all want to wish him a happy birthday. So Ann, Tony, Mandy, Jason, Shannon, Meredith, grandkids Abby and AJ, and Joe and Al want to wish Ben Talley a happy birthday.
Jesse Levis is going to come off the bench and bat. Candarias ends up going 1 inning and allowing the Cardinals 2 runs on a couple of hits, a walk, and no strikeouts. Levis against Hermanson, and a strike on the outside corner. Jesse Levis, one of the backup catchers, as Mark Leiter, Al Leiter's older brother, gets loose. The 1-1 pitch to Levis. In the dirt. We have seen Levis before. We've seen Levis with the Cleveland Indians, with Milwaukee, getting his first at bat. Devon White, Lou Collier will follow against Dustin Hermanson. Cardinals needing 3 more outs to make this an official game, and that might be one of them. Into left field, long run. Pujols going to it. It's a double. Just put in a perfect spot. Albert couldn't get there. And that's a flare double down the left field line.
Renteria goes a long way, but he still might have had the best shot at going there. He looks over at Pujols, but it is just perfectly placed in no man's land. So everybody running hard, everybody going for it. You got the stands coming closer to you, and Levis probably couldn't have thrown that ball any more perfectly.
Here's Devon White. Home run his last time up, the only run of the night for the Brewers, and a breaking ball misses, ball 1. Something very good came of that double down the left field line, and that was that Pujols didn't slide, dive, jump, or run into the railing. The 1-0. Up the middle, Renteria showing range. Good play, 1 out. Hermanson appreciates it, and he tells him so. Runner at third, 1 out. Levis goes over to third.
And remember, if you're that base runner, if the ball's hit in front of you, you hold. Ball behind you, you can advance. But you see even better base running because he made sure it got past the pitcher. He had to hold his ground, got past the pitcher, didn't know. He's going to let his third base coach tell him if the ball got into the outfield, but Renteria made a nice play.
Here comes Lou Collier. First at bat for Collier, batting in place of Loretta. Hopefully he's all right. Fouling a pitch off his left knee, a bruised knee, and he had to exit. Runner at third, 1 out, and a base hit will make it an 8-2 game. So Collier is on. In to score is Levis. Nothing really hard hit in the inning, and it's an 8-2 Cardinal lead.
Trying to get ahead in the count, and breaking ball kind of backed up a little bit, stayed in the middle of the zone, and hit it to right field for the RBI. So you touched on it, but even though you still have an 8-2 lead, you've got to get 2 more outs before this is an official game.
Here is Jenkins. So far tonight, a pair of walks. That's it. Ball 1. Arizona got 6 runs in the first inning at Colorado.
Oh, and Kurt Schilling on the mound.
So mark that down as a Diamondback win, although it is in Denver, Colorado, so all bets are off. Here comes a 1-0. And Jenkins way out in front. Jeff with 17 home runs this season. They hold against the runner Collier at first. It's too late. The count 1-2. Timing has got to be perfect if you're going to stand at the plate. Leave your front leg hanging in the air that long. Wave the bat over your head the way Jenkins does. When he connects, it's a thing of beauty. When he misses, which is regularly, he didn't look too good. 1-2 pitch. Able to check it. 2-2. He's still a big threat at the plate. And Hermanson knows it as he tries to get through this top of the 5th.
Jenkins is still a young player, and he's going to have a bright future. It'll be interesting to watch him and see if that batting stance doesn't alter over the years.
That's out number 2. And for Hermanson, strikeout number 4, and it'll bring in Richie Sexson. And Rod Carews thinking, there's another one.
And there you see going after a pitch, changing speeds, and getting to swing at a pitch that is obviously a ball. So I've seen reports where Rod Carew will not come back. I've also seen reports where Bob Apodaca, the pitching coach, won't be back. And even a published report where Davey Lope's saying that if Dave Stewart, the assistant general manager to the Toronto Blue Jays, doesn't get a general manager's job, that he will be the next pitching coach for Milwaukee. That's kind of tough when you still have your own pitching coach on staff now.
1 ball, 1 strike on Sexson. Yeah, that's surprising.
And then there's other people that say, Davey, you better not be talking too much, because with Jimmy Williams being let go by Boston and Dean Taylor, the general manager of Milwaukee, having a relationship with Williams back with the days with Atlanta, he could be the man.
That's strike 2. Jimmy Williams, there's no doubt in my mind, and it's becoming more and more evident, it was not his doing that Boston Red Sox team ended up disappointing this season. The problem was they could not stay healthy, and the guys who were hurt were some of the best players in baseball, let alone the team.
Absolutely.
Pedro Martinez, Nomar Garcia-Parra, Jason Varitek, good catcher, Everett. Although there are plenty of other issues with him. 1-2 pitch, another strikeout. Back-to-back strikeout. Sexton fires the bat and the helmet. 5 strikeouts on the night. This is an official game. 8-2 Cardinals. It is an 8-2 Cardinal lead. Cards up by 6 as we move to the bottom of the 5th inning. Midwest Sports Report is coming up immediately after the game. Kevin Slayton will sound off. The league's toughest out. And back to business for the Rams as they prepare for an NFC West game out in San Francisco this Sunday. Alex Sanchez is in the game in center field. Devon White is finished for the night. And a new pitcher on the mound. We showed you him earlier. Mark Leiter is the 3rd pitcher after Gandarias went 1 inning, allowed 2 runs on 2 hits after the starter Wright lasted only 3. It is Mark Leiter who is 2-1.
Veteran of many wars, and you mentioned his younger brother, one of the best lefties in the game, Al Leiter of the Mets.
Mark Leiter went through spring training with the Mets. He was traded to Colorado and then immediately turned around and traded to Milwaukee. That was right at the start of the season. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the St. Louis Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. And Cardinal Baseball is a production of Bud Sports and is an exclusive presentation of Fox Sports Net. So here is Drew. 8-2, bottom of the 5th. Cardinals trying to make it 2 in a row to start this yet again quick homestand. 3 and out. Cardinals will leave after the day game tomorrow. An early start, 12:40. Matt Morris will be on the mound looking for win number 20. And he will take on the Milwaukee Brewers and Jeff D'Amico. Morris is 19-7. D'Amico is 1-2. Here's a 1-1 to Drew. To the right side for Sexton. Leiter gets there, put out 3-1. Story with Mark Leiter, who has been around for a long time and had some arm trouble. Put together some good seasons toward the tail end of what he thought was his career. Took some time off playing catch, messing around. The arm felt great, and he wanted to join his brother in spring training in Port St. Lucie, and he was good enough that the Mets, they didn't want him, or they didn't have room for him, but the Rockies wanted him and then turned him around and shipped him to Milwaukee. 1 out, nobody on, and Pujols takes a breaking ball, ball 1.
And he has some bicep tendonitis, and that's why only 11 games.
That is a good family, the Leiter family. Here's a 1-0.
Talk about people that have had to endure their share of problems. Mark's wife, terminal illness, and I mean,
Pujols steps out of there. Here's a 2-0. Off the end of the bat. A pop-up on the right side, and Lopez, who started the game at 3rd, will haul it in for the 2nd out. So with 2 out, Jim Edmonds will walk to the plate, 1 out of 2.
Let's hope maybe I got the wrong marks.
Well, Mark Gardner of San Francisco has really been through a rough stretch, to say nothing of his wife, who has battled cancer. Here is Edmonds. Jim takes the ball outside. Edmonds an RBI single back in what was a 3-run first inning. 3 more runs in the third on a 3-run home run by Pujols, who has 5 RBIs tonight. 117 on the season. And the Cardinals got 2 2-out RBI hits. One from Vina, one from Polanco in the 4th, and lead it 8-2. The 1-1, Edmonds took low. It has been said many times, but if the Cardinals do manage to get into postseason and they're playing like they will get there, this, in my mind, will be a dangerous team in the National League to play. Sexton off that big body, corrals it, and they get the out. Good effort by Sexton. He did everything he could, and Leiter appreciates it. Put out 3-1. Cards go in order for the 2nd time tonight.
Well, Joe, looks like Dustin Hermanson's night is finished. He goes the first 5 innings, and Mike Matthews will take over.
A couple of reasons. I'm sure they want to take every precaution they can with a neck, and no reason with a big lead to extend Hermanson, and he did very well. 2 runs on 6 hits in 5 innings, and now get some work for that bullpen. They need to tune it up after that time off, and Mike Matthews, who got a save his last time out, that Monday night game, by pitching 3 solid innings in Milwaukee, takes over.
Yeah, Mike got that first major league save in that ball game. And with all these left-handed batters, and Burnett's the first one he will face, it's a good opportunity. He's also pitched a couple times as a starter against the Brewers and pitched very well.
Very well. Start he made in Milwaukee stands out to me in a day game.
Ben Sheets.
Beat Ben Sheets, that's right. We are in the top of the 6th inning. Next inning, we will stay here as we did last night and allow you to observe singing of God Bless America here at Busch Stadium. Burnett takes the ball. Jeremy Burnett's tonight 0 for 2, 0 for 6 in the series. Mike Matthews has really settled into a nice spot in that bullpen.
Very interesting swing there.
Burnett's with that big swing is now 0 for 7 in this series, 1 away in the 6th. Today at about 12:30 thought there was no way we were going to get this game in here tonight, and it is an official game at this point. It just absolutely poured all day here in St. Louis.
And that's the only thing that Tony La Russa was worried about is, you know, you didn't want to start a game and then have it stopped and not an official game. And I think we all right now don't want to have any interruption at all.
Play on through. Houston, San Francisco. It's just after 7 o'clock out there, so they'll get started here soon, and we'll at least have a partial score on that before we say goodnight.
And what an advantage if the Cardinals hold on, win this ball game. That puts an awful lot of pressure on both Houston and San Francisco.
1 ball, no strikes, 1 out, nobody on. Hernandez takes ball 2.
You know, I've said for a while, I think the fans that were always looking at the wild card scenario were forgetting this team is very capable, and right now I think they should only settle on trying to be Central Division champs.
There's a strike, 2-1.
They're the defending champions. Houston has a lead, but they're playing the tough Giants, who have a lot to play for too.
The talent level, in my mind, the talent level that the Astros can run out there is unmatched in the National League. Now, granted, a lot of those starters and a lot of the guys they're going to rely on are rookies or second-year pitchers down the stretch.
Well, they got some bad news where Estacio is out for the year, and so is their young lefty, Carlos Hernandez.
1 on, 1 out. Standings are important. The Advanced Auto Division standings. With 1 on, 1 out here. 4.5 games out of the Cardinals. Game and a half up on the Cubs. And Cardinals lead the wild card along with San Francisco. And again, Houston and San Francisco are starting a series out at Pac-Bell Park tonight. We'll give you an update from Cincinnati where the Cubs are playing. They're in the 9th inning now, and the Cubs came back from a 3-1 deficit.
And by the scoreboard here, Atlanta picked up 2 in the 8th, and they lead 3-2 over Philadelphia after 8. That's by the scoreboard.
1 on, 1 out. Louis Lopez leans back from ball 1. Mets have come back. They lead at Pittsburgh 7-5. They are indeed in the top of the 9th at Philadelphia. 3-2 Braves. So it'll be a nice come from behind win for the Atlanta Braves. Here's a 1-0. That is foul. You know, the Atlanta Braves, since we last saw them, have settled on their closer. They had been working John Smoltz as their setup man. Now the free agent to be John Smoltz might be one of the top 3 closers in the league. Luther Hackman starts to loosen for the Cardinals in the bullpen.
You kind of get the impression this is going to be a game where maybe for both sides the entire bullpens will be working and no pitcher will go more than 1 inning.
1 on, 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. Another aspect of this game, the Cardinals would love to keep a little distance between themselves and the Brewers down in the late innings here. And even though he has had a week off, he'd like to go a game tonight without having to use Klein with an early start tomorrow. Matt Morris on the mound. Klein ended up going an inning and a third for the save here last night. Here's a 2-1, 2-2.
And remember, you do have a third left-hander in that bullpen. So you have somebody in between. Jeff Tabaka is down there. So you don't have to necessarily go with Klein late in the game. But we'll let Dave Duncan figure that out.
Two balls, 2 strikes with a catcher Blanco on deck. And Lopez gets a piece. You know as well as I know that Tony La Russa, when it comes to making pitching changes, gets recommendations from Dave Duncan, but he was taught as a young manager, as far as those decisions of when to pull somebody and go to the bullpen, that rests with one person, and that person has number 10 on his back.
Who do you think was that? Was that Gene Mock influence?
I believe that's exactly who it was. 2-2 pitch. Got him. 2 out. He said the wins and losses, you're on the record for those. The pitching coach gets him ready, gives you his opinion, but you have to be strong enough to be the one to make those calls, and that's Tony La Russa's call totally.
And if you sit and talk with Tony like we do, you know, any question is fair game, and sometimes, well, a lot of times, you know, you'll see the tunnel vision that we possess and the total view that he considers when he makes a decision.
Another thing, when you ask him tough questions, 1 on, 2 out, and that's foul. He loves it. He loves explaining why he does what he does, and he will listen to what you have to say, and a lot of the moves he makes from time to time are second guess, third guess, 8th guess, you name it, but he has a reason for everything he does. You might not like it, but he has his reason.
And you may not agree with it, but after talking to him, you fully understand why he did what he did.
That's the third. Boy, is he something. Polanco, what a good play. Nasty hop, and he didn't backhand it. How many third basemen would have just stayed where he was and backhanded it? He went to his right, got in front of it, made the throw. It's 8-2. Party suites and rooms are now available for the rescheduled games on October 5th, 6th and 7th against the division rival Houston Astros. Call the sales office at 314-421-3060. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what are the last 3 games of the season? And those could be fun games. Those could be extremely important games. Those could be games to decide who wins the Central Division. And there are party suites and rooms available. 421-3060 as Mike DeJean takes over for the Milwaukee Brewers here in the bottom of the 6th.
John, very busy, 67th appearance, 4 wins and 6 decisions. 76 and 2/3 innings, less hits than innings pitched, almost a strikeout to match his hit total. And the first man he'll face is Big Matt on bobblehead night.
Bobblehead night it is. McGuire 0 for 2. Hit the ball hard his first time, but right into a 6-4-3 double play. Next time up, called out on strikes on a pitch well outside. So no fun tonight for McGuire yet on bobblehead night. 24 home runs for McGuire with an average of 185. 2-0 the count.
How about a 64th birthday for a special American, Max Starkoff? Celebrating his 64th birthday. We all wish him a speedy recovery, but you talk about a man's man. It's Max.
Max Starkoff is a good friend of the Cardinals.
Absolutely.
McGuire hasn't seen anything to hit yet. 3-0. That was close. Ball 4 and a leadoff walk. DeJean, a former Colorado Rocky, walks McGuire to start the night. You wonder if there'll be a pinch runner, and the answer is yes. Kerry Robinson is going to come off the bench and run, and then he can stay in the game, play the outfield, and Pujols will come in and play first. So McGuire's night is finished, and bobblehead down night ends for him. 0 for 2 with a walk. And more memorabilia for him to sign at some point later in his life. A pop-up on the right side. Lopez hauls it in, 1 out. So Renneria is gone. The batter will be Matheny.
The way that Luther Hackman continues to throw, more than likely Matthews' night is through. Bobby Bonilla stands at the on-deck circle, so with an 8-2 Cardinal lead, they're going to have a chance to get a few players into some action.
It was Hermanson and Matthews for 1 shutout inning with a strikeout and walk. And now it'll be Hackman. Matheny with a runner at first, 1 out, the 0-1. That makes it 0-2. How about the picture the Post-Dispatch today of Bobby Bonilla with that hat on with the American flag on the side of the hat and a tear coming down his face?
Well, you know, Bobby from New York, and there was a period of time where he was trying to locate his family, so anxious moments, and you know how we feel that we're safe. Think about the guys that had families and relatives in the area.
Second out of the inning as Matheny strikes out, and it will be Bonilla. Good inning for Matthews, 1 inning. No runs or hits, a walk and a strikeout. You want to stay with us for the next half inning and what follows it. God bless America for the 2nd night in a row. We're in the 7th inning stretch, and we will have it for you here on Fox Sports Net. Bonilla batting for Matthews. That gets away, and down to second is Kerry Robinson. And they have called that a wild pitch.
Didn't look like it was that far to Henry Blanco's left. Guys, you know, a weak effort. I know there was no way our Cardinal catcher would have backhanded that.
Bonilla waits and takes a strike. Bobby Bonilla with 5 Cardinal home runs, 21 RBIs, a .222 average.
Played 3 innings in Colorado, Joe.
And it's 6-4 after 3, Arizona against Colorado. All bets are indeed off, Schilling or no Schilling. Bobby Bonilla this season as a pinch hitter is 7 out of 36 with 1 home run and 6 RBI. It is 3-1. Scoreboard in our Fox box has 2-1. It's 3-1. Now it's 3-2. So a full count with Kerry Robinson at second, 2 out. Top of the 7th, it will be a pinch hitter for Milwaukee.
You see the home plate umpire was signaling not only to the players in the field but also to his umpiring companions that it is truly a full count.
Big swing by Bonilla, 93 miles an hour from Dijon, and the count's still 3-2. How does that make you feel, Al, somebody who's been through 2 neck operations, when you see Bobby Bonilla slam the bat on top of his helmet?
Well, I know I didn't get mine that way, but
No. To the right side, Lopez takes his time, and the inning comes to a close. That'll do it for the Cardinals. A leadoff walk. We go to the 7th. Hermanson, Matthews, and now Hackman. It's easier than ever to buy Cardinal tickets this year. Log on to STLCardinals.com, the official source for Cardinals tickets. STLCardinals.com. Connect with it. More signs, more flags. And at the end of this half inning, another rendition of God Bless America. And we will have that for you on Fox Sports Net. We started out with a bigger crowd than we have here now as this game has been opened up. As we expected, Kerry Robinson takes over in left field, and moving into play first is Albert Pujols. Really has played a good defensive first base when he's had the opportunity. Luther Hackman is on the mound, the 3rd pitcher of the night. Hermanson, Matthews, Hackman. And Luther appears for the 28th time.
well, Luther's not going to get that first win here tonight. He's going to be part of keeping and maintaining the lead, but his numbers, and he has pitched himself very much into contention for next season in a very prominent role.
Chicago now leads in the 9th inning 5-4 at Cincinnati. Dimitri Young with an RBI. It said 5-4 Chicago on the scoreboard. I wonder if that's right. Maybe we can check in the truck and see what that score is. It is 5-4 Chicago. They're in the 9th inning at Cincinnati. Reds are trying to rally. Meanwhile here, Elvis Pena. Will come off the bench and bat and swing at the first pitch.
Elvis is in the house, huh?
He is. Put a smile on the face of Jerry Glanville wherever he is right now. Thank you very much. Pena with a count of 0-1. Luther Hackman bends a strike in there, 0-2. Luther Hackman just another piece of that puzzle with that big trade with Colorado. And yet another steal for the Cardinals as Pena goes into right center field, and a little floater for a leadoff hit. So Pena's on. And we go back to the top of the order. Alex Sanchez will bat for the first time in the game. Cardinals have Tabaka getting loose. And here's Sanchez with 1 on, nobody out. Alex hitting .204.
At the end of this half inning, we'll stay right here and bring you Busch Stadium rendition of God Bless America.
So we're getting creative with their
Why not?
show of patriotism. Alex Sanchez hitting .204, waits and takes a breaking ball over but low. Cardinals will have the top of the order in the bottom of the inning.
Used to tell everyone to bring a sign for Fox Sports Net, and that one maybe say most creative USA. Some kind of way of honoring America.
That's a slow roller. Vina. A tag, a throw, double play. Now they're saying the runner going down to second is safe, and that'll be news to Vina. He doesn't argue much, so evidently he did not tag the runner. They got the out at first. There was just no double play, and evidently Vina stopped a little short of tagging Elvis Pena.
Well, you can understand why he'd be a little gun shy. Every time he does something, it goes against him. So he doesn't get the tag there. He completes it. See, Pujols assumes he does. So instead of going on, and he does miss him there, instead of throwing back towards second base and letting Renteria tag the runner, Pujols looked to see the call from the from the first base umpire. But normally, Vina would start screaming, you know, throw the ball to second and let everyone know that tag play would be no longer the force play is in order.
That's to the first baseman Pujols. That's the second out. Collier delivers it. And now with a runner at third, 2 out, we may get a pitching change. May not, but with Tabaka about ready and Jenkins with the capability of making this a 4-run game, we'll see if they stick with Hackman with a guy like Sexton on deck. Probably stay right here.
Joe, I would think that Luther has earned the opportunity to face Jenkins. And also, we touched on it, trying to avoid using Klein here tonight with a day game tomorrow. You take your chances.
Sexton on deck, runner at third, 2 out, 8-2 Cardinals, top of the 7th.
What happens if Tabaka comes in and Jenkins gets away? You don't have a right-hander for Sexton.
So a 1-0 pitch. 2-0. Phillies come back with 2 to beat the Braves, and I would bet that Smoltz was on the mound. This is the time when I wish I had my computer hooked up. 2 balls, no strikes. Runner at third, 2 out. 2-1. They're checking to see if that was Smoltz who was hit with the loss. Philadelphia's a game and a half out with 2 to go in that series with Atlanta. And that means that the New York Mets are 6 out. That is launched into right. Will it carry? Drew back at the wall. Up and out. Jeff Jenkins a home run, and it's an 8-4 game. So you take that big swing, you make the contact, and the ball just kept going. Didn't sound all that great. But that makes it 8-4 here in the 7th inning, and it's getting a little too close.
Well, got an off-speed pitch. It was up in the strike zone, inner half, and you just can't do that. And if you're going to throw an off-speed pitch, you got to keep it away from the strengths. You can't throw a hanger, and you can't throw a strike with it and expect a guy like this, because he's got that big vicious swing, but if you throw a hanger to him, it just ends up right into the sweet part of his bat.
The National Spit Tobacco Education Program and its chairman Joe Garagiola would like to remind you that smokeless does not mean harmless. Still, it's a 4-run lead. 7th inning, 2 out. The batter is Sexton. Strike one. The Reds come back to beat the Cubs.
Anything can happen in the last couple weeks of the season.
That'll be a crushing defeat for Chicago. Strike two on Sexton, who is in danger of striking out for the third time tonight. He's 0 for 3 overall this evening right now. On 0-2. Got him again. Sexton strikes out for the third consecutive time. It's a 2-run inning on a 362-foot home run hit by Jeff Jenkins. Top of the order will bat in the bottom of the 7th, an 8-4 Cardinal lead. And it's been another fun night here at the ballpark. It'll be Vina, Polanco, and Drew if anybody gets on Pujols against the 5th pitch of the night for Milwaukee, Ray King. Lejean went 1 inning, allowed no hits or walks, or rather 1 walk, 1 strikeout, no runs, 8-4. And here is Vina. Fernando 1 out of 2, and he takes a strike. Understand that the mix that people hear at home is different than the mix that we hear in our headsets here at the ballpark, so you do get a better idea of how the crowd is participating, singing God Bless America during the 7th inning stretch. We get the Ernie Hayes version in our headset. 1 ball, 1 strike. Vina hops out of there. Outfield plays Vina to hit it the other way. 1 ball, 1 strike. 8-4 Cardinals, and there's a good pitch outside corner. 1-2. Have to like the Cardinals and their matchup tomorrow with Matt Morris here at home. 19-7 overall, but in St. Louis he has been phenomenal. We'll tell you more about that after the 1-2 pitch. Vina just got a piece of it. John Tudor in 1985 had 14 home wins here at Busch Stadium. Matt Morris this season is 13-2 with a National League best 1.77 ERA at home.
Not too bad, is it?
He's on the mound against Jeff D'Amico tomorrow. Here's a 1-2 pitch right back at King, and Vina is retired for the 2nd time tonight. 1 away.
King shown to be a very tough competitor. The only left-hander in their bullpen. Going for the 72nd time, so these left-handed specialists get a lot of work today.
Here is Polanco. Placido, 2 hits, and the time he was retired he lined out. He singled in the 1st, which started a 3-run rally. RBIs by Pujols and Edmonds. Then the inning when he lined out, Pujols hit a 3-run home run. That was back in the 3rd. 5 RBIs tonight for Pujols. Polanco then later had a 2-out RBI single in the 4th inning, which at the time made it 8-1, and he has another 3-hit night. That ball is in the gap and all the way to the wall. Polanco turns on the Jets, but will hold with a 1-out double. My dad calls him Trace Moss. 3 more. He just gets 3 hits a night.
Absolutely. Leads the ball club in 3-hit nights. And here's another line drive over the shortstop down into the left center gap. He has 44 multi-hit games. And Joe, I think, is probably nearing about 20 3-hit games.
J.D. Drew now with a runner at second, 1 out. Drew with 63 RBIs, hits one up the middle. Here comes Polanco. There'll be no play. The Cardinals get one of the runs back. It's 9-4. And Drew is on base for the third time tonight.
64 RBIs. That's a career high and multi-hit game.
Our Pizza Hut perfect delivery, as we have 2 boxes of Pizza Hut pizza nearby. J.D. Drew delivers right up the middle.
Boy, J.D. just stole the thunder because we were going to have Jim Sill and his group. They were going to make the Pizza Hut delivery to us, but J.D. took it away from him. And Ocio Kendo waving them home.
That brings in Pujols, who has 5 RBIs tonight, 117 on the season, 35 home runs. He takes the ball. Craig Paquette on deck.
Another rookie record that Albert is closing in on is runs. He has 99. The club record is 109.
2-0. Paquette, it appears, will bat for Edmonds. Cardinals, it appears, will be able to get through the night without having to use Klein. An early start tomorrow. Like to have a rested Klein backing up a very rested Matt Morris, going for win number 20. Here's a 2-0. Good pitch, 2-1. That throws hard. So Cincinnati comes back with 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th to beat the Cubs 6-5. Post-game spread isn't sitting well for Don Baylor and the Cubs, you can bet. 3-1 now on Pujols. Meanwhile, Philadelphia got 2 runs in the 9th, beat John Smoltz, beat Atlanta. It'll all be on the Midwest Sports Report coming up. And they're only a game and a half out, the Phillies are.
Yeah. I mean, they were semi-mutiny when the Phillies were here. They were saying Larry Boa's record was perfect and the players were winless.
Here's the 3-1. That's low for a walk, and it's 2 on, 1 out.
These guys might be liking Larry Boa now and where he's taking them.
That'll bring in Paquette, who will bat for Edmonds, who is 1 out of 3 tonight.
Mike Buddy, a right-hander, is warming up in Milwaukee bullpen. And Paquette, well, you got to get a guy in scoring position. You see Buddy put a guy in scoring position for Paquette. Look out. Batting .364 with a runner in scoring position. He has 20 RBIs in his last 27 games.
2 on, 1 out. Paquette down the right field line. Long run for Burnett. He's there. And he has it. Runners return to first and second. 2 out. Sometimes it's not too pretty out in right field with Burnett going after the ball, but he makes all the plays that he should. And last night showed off a good arm on that double play at first.
He almost overran this ball as it starts coming back with the wind, but makes the play. Tied a major league record last night with 10 chances, 9 putouts and an assist. Last done by our old buddy Beck McBride.
Gary Robinson, .290 average, batting for the first time and taking a ball. Mets won tonight at Pittsburgh 7-5. Over in the American League, first night of action in the AL. They were completely dark, so to speak, last night. 2 on, 2 out. That's a high strike. 1-1 on Carey. Cleveland pounded on Kansas City 11-2. Boston, they have suspended Carl Everett for 4 games with a run-in with manager Joe Kerrigan. He didn't get along with Jimmy Williams. Now he doesn't get along with Joe Kerrigan. Making $9 million a year. Boston won at home over Tampa Bay 7-2. They go the short way, and that ends the inning. The Cardinals get a run back on an RBI hit by Drew. Let's go to the 8th. It's 9-4 Cardinals. This portion of Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Advanced Auto. The best part is our people. We get to the 8th inning in what is a long night, but a productive night for the Cardinals. 9-4 lead. Cardinals, if they win, will be 2.5 out in front of Chicago. They will be, at the moment when the game ends, a half game up on the Giants in the wild card race. At the same time, only 4 out in the division behind Houston as Jeff Tabaka takes over for St. Louis.
Kind of season as he had. Remember, opening day, he retired 2 batters, then sustained an elbow injury. He did pitch in 32 games at Memphis, 0-2, 2 saves, and a 2.6 ERA. 24 hits and 23 strikeouts, 10 walks in 27 2/3 innings. He is 37 years of age. I'll just show you how valuable lefties are, and here he's going to try and come in here and retire Burnitz.
A couple of right-handers getting loose for the Cardinals in the bullpen. Bennis and Timlin. Andy Bennis and Mike Timlin. Here's Burnett. There's a strike. Pretty good zip on that ball.
And Andy told me, you know, he needs to get a little work in, just trying to keep things. Some people forget, but Andy Bennis was the only Cardinal pitcher to win in postseason a year ago.
And right now, with the way things are going for Andy Bennis, making out a postseason roster, he probably wouldn't be eligible. And that's not news to Andy. He's disappointed with the way he's pitched and frustrated that he's not getting a chance to try to get it back together, and can't blame him. 0-2 the count. Burnett takes the ball, and Tabaka's shown something here with his velocity.
And over 90 miles an hour. Very important for the Cardinals to defeat the Brewers, and if they can keep them down after 8 innings, there's an amazing statistic.
That's foul.
Milwaukee this year, when they're trailing after 8 innings, you know what their record is?
94-3.
When they're trailing.
92-7.
When they're trailing after 8 innings, they're 0-71. Close, Joe.
By
close.
That much. A 1-2 to Burnett. Oh, there's an effort. 1 out. The best damn sports show ever. I'm paid to say it. It premieres Monday, weeknights at 7:30 and 11:30 right here on Fox Sports Net. There's John Kruk eating something as he slam dunks a ball. Tom Arnold. That was Kruk. That's Kruk. Kruk is a man of many different looks. Tom Arnold dribbling a basketball. 1 out, nobody on, a 9-4 Cardinal lead.
Kruk very capable of dribbling.
Hernandez, strike 1. That was nice for Tabaka to come in and end up getting the left-handed batter. Burnett showing something to Tony La Russa. Oh, and 2 on Hernandez. Hernandez hitting .255 and set up for a strikeout. That'll keep it 0-2. Cardinals have had a lot of guys chip in here in the past couple of weeks worth of games. Obviously the 6 days missed not included in that, but from Andy Bennis to the next day, T.J. Matthews going 4 1/3 innings. He was perfect. That Sunday afternoon victory, picking up for Matt Morris after a 2-hour rain delay. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You see Hackman coming out of the bullpen and helping out. You see Bud Smith throwing a no-hitter, winning last night, going 7 innings, allowing no earned runs, getting his 5th win, starting the first game back from that layoff. Emotional night. Pujols, a rookie, doing what he's doing. A lot of young players. Drew, that's off the plate, foul. Polanco's young. Renteria's young. There's a lot of reasons to be very optimistic about the rest of this season and on into years to come.
Well, you can see they're all talking. There's Bud Smith listening to Dustin Hermanson, who's in line to get his 13th victory. Joe, the nucleus is coming back for many more years.
2-2 now on Hernandez.
I was talking with Tony La Russa about the job Bud Smith did after, the tremendous tribute on the field before that game started. And he said, I got some starters, some veteran guys that would have had a hard time dealing with that game, and Bud Smith, nothing phases him.
2-2. Hernandez strikes out. More good zip from Tabaka. 2 up, 2 down, and the batter will be Lopez. Rod Carew sees Jose Hernandez, who leads the league in strikeouts. Strike out for the first time tonight. Sexton has struck out 3 times. The guy at the plate is more of a contact type hitter. Lopez is 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts.
I think I gave the stat last night. I remember from Milwaukee, they said that 48 times this year the Brewers have struck out 10 or more times.
That's a good inning for Tabaka. He goes through Burnett, Hernandez, and Lopez, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. Good work by Jeff. Cardinals lead it 9-4. Bottom of the 8th inning, a 9-4 Cardinal lead. And we have another pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, like they would in the Cactus League. We've seen one after the next, and that's because of the starter right lasting only 3. Gandarias, Leiter, Dijon, King, now Lezcanic.
He's their closer, but with a layoff, he needs to get some work. I always like this guy's arm, and I think he's much happier pitching in Milwaukee than in the high altitudes of Colorado.
He is not alone.
Yeah, good fastball. He's got that good breaking ball, and Stubby Clapp is going to hit for Renteria.
So Clapp will come off the bench. No reason for these fans to clap yet again. Their man is back. Rosters have been expanded, and Stubby Clapp is back in action. They're wailing into deep right center field. 1 hop up against the wall. Stubby Clapp will stop at second with a leadoff double. That didn't take long.
Only his 4th big league hit, but the little guy from Canada, who's a fan favorite no matter where he plays, you can see
like Burnett's-like.
His Burnett's-like swing. And 1 hops the wall out into right center. And hey, Stubby's not going to not run hard out of the batter's box.
Here's Mike Matheny with a runner at second, nobody out. The fastball gets away from Lezcanic and almost got away from Blanco. Ball 1. Cardinals lead by 5, bottom of the 8th. Eli Marrero waits to hit for the pitcher Tabaka. That'll advance the runner. Take a good play from Hernandez to get Matheny. Almost a little too lazy on the throw. 1 out. And Marrero will bat with Clapp at third.
Joe, I thought the effort last night from Milwaukee was very commendable. And today you're seeing a little bit of an effort of a team that the second division team was trailing and closing out of the season. That's why get ahead of these guys tomorrow and stay ahead of them.
Now the infield will come in for the play at the plate. Runner at third, one out. Eli Marrero looking for RBI number 21. 264 average, strike one. So again, just to repeat, and I guess it's the point of the season where you can't do this enough. Some are tired of hearing it. Cincinnati got 3 runs in the bottom of the ninth to beat the Cubs 6-5. Philadelphia got 2 runs in the ninth to beat John Smoltz and the Braves 4-3. Arizona behind Schilling had a 6-0 lead in the first inning at Colorado. They're tied 6-6. LA at home leads San Diego 1-0 after 2. New York won at Pittsburgh. They're only 6 out, the Mets are. 7-5 in Florida. 1 at Montreal. Score you've all been waiting for, 3-1. Houston at San Francisco has yet to start. And they must be having pregame ceremonies because it is coming up on 8 o'clock out there, and they have not started, at least on the manually operated board. Infield in, that's strike 2.
Saw Timlin continuing to throw in the bullpen, so he will try and close out the Milwaukee ninth.
I understand they just started in San Francisco, so they had pregame ceremonies that lasted quite a while. Their first game back. Marrero with a 1-ball 2-strike pitch coming his way, and it'll stay that way. Dare I say that we are weather reference.
I told you you were coming back in your next life. You have to hold on.
Here's the 1-2, and Eli, a good job of fighting off that pitch.
115 years from now, you can start doing that.
Okay.
Did you take that long a life?
These days, yes. Absolutely. I think we all would. Absolutely. Runner at third, 1 out, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Eli Marrero. 2-2. Runner at third is Stubby Clapp with 1 out. He led off with a double on the first pitch. He bounced it up against the wall in right center. And Eli went. Chased it, 2 out. Again, to talk about what we talked about last night. Another night of incident-free baseball here at Busch Stadium. Again, I did what we talked about last night. I'm sure you did as well. 2-1 thrilling win, but you go home and you turn on the news. You learn more about what's going on in the country and the world around us. It was a nice little 3-hour break last night. Appears to be again tonight. And we all go back to reality when we head out of the ballpark and learn more about the tragedies that have hit this country and what's to come next in the world.
Yeah, I was up to somewhere between 2:30, 3 o'clock watching.
It is
Fox
hard to
News.
turn it off.
Oh, absolutely. Fox News channel, and just trying to be abreast to everything that's happening.
So many different sides to the story that really you can learn something new avenue that the media takes with a certain aspect of what has happened and what may happen.
Seen some of the videos of ground zero, which now is ground hero.
Vania tipped that pitch into the glove of the catcher. It's 1-2. But again, and we in no way let that escape our minds completely. I've been able to let it go, but it has been nice to move away from it for just a little while, and it has been a couple of safe nights here at the park. A pretty good pitch there, and the count 2-2.
And Joe, I think more today than ever before in this great game of baseball is it truly entertainment. And it has provided some relief.
Vina strikes out, and the inning comes to a close. A leadoff double. But that's it. Let's go to the ninth. Cardinals will have Timlin on the mound, leading by 5. Cardinal baseball on Fox Sports Net was brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. Darryl Kyle is tutoring Bud Smith. So we've seen Bud Smith, Al, sit there and talk to Hermanson, tonight's starter, and now he's talking to Darryl Kyle.
But, you know, stop and think about it. You know, what better way for you to be, you know, a pupil than to talk to the guys that have been there before you, that have much more experience, be a sponge, absorb everything you can from your veterans.
Before the game tonight, I know I already mentioned this to you off the air, I saw Rick Ankiel as he was heading into the clubhouse for the final time this season, and I hadn't seen him since he come back. Just haven't been around the ball club. And as you look at the numbers for Timlin, I said hi to Rick, and he stopped and turned around and said, "How you doing?" I said, "Doing well." I said, "How are you doing?" And he said, "Doing great." I said, "I'm leaving, and I won't see you at this World Series, but I'll see you at the next World Series next year."
I mean, and why Rick is leaving is he's going to instructional league tomorrow.
So I bet he can't wait.
So he worked out, he packed up, and he's ready to go. But you're right. I mean, I think,
looked great. He looked completely different.
Yeah, I thought I've always had a pretty good relationship with him, and he was over at my house last Friday with Bud Smith and Edmonds, and had some dinner. And Joe, I've just seen him come to grips with what he's had to deal with this year, and right now it's the most positive I've ever seen.
Mouton, strike one. James Mouton is batting here for Blanco. They'll need another pinch hitter, and our friend Mark Sweeney is in the on-deck circle. Everybody straight away from Mouton. He's hitting .257. Used to do damage against the Cardinals while with Houston. Good breaking ball for strike 2.
Some of Nicky's friends were at the house, and these guys were all college students at WashU. And, you know, and you should have seen Bud Smith and Rick Ankiel talking to these kids that, I mean, they were 20, they were 21, 22. And they were just remarked how normal they are. So they spoke a language they weren't sure what was going on, but
the question is, what were you doing?
I was cooking.
Generation X gets together at Al's house. Next on Fox Sports Net. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count on Mouton. Timlin trying to make it uneventful here in the 9th inning. The crowd has thinned out considerably. They announced the attendance at 41,653. But it is considered a sellout with some of the tickets that were discounted. This is an official sellout here at the ballpark. Now, obviously, many have left because of the score. It was 8-1 at one point. It's 9-4 in the 9th inning. The 1-2 pitch. That's foul.
Not only that, Joe, but the better than 10,000 people that were lining up early this morning, and there were some reports that some people tried to line up last night to get in line for the Mark McGwire bobblehead. But there were thousands of people, and all the ramps, every entrance to the ballpark was at least 10 deep, hours before the gates ever opened tonight.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Mouton. Did you get a bobblehead doll? I didn't get a bobblehead.
I didn't get one either.
So we sell them.
We probably won't be able to go home.
We sell them, but we don't get them. Is that it?
Oh, I guess that's the way it is around here now.
Okay.
Okay.
We try to guilt the
No
PR
more.
department into sending a couple our way.
Yeah.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Mouton lays off.
Guess we'll have to wait for October 7th.
What happens then? Oh, that's the next one.
That's the kids' one. That's the final game. Where will the standings be? It'll be the final game of the regular season between the Cardinals and Houston, and that's the Mark McGwire bobblehead for 15 and under.
That caught. Sounded like it hit the helmet. Ball 4, and that's a bad start to this 9th inning. He had Mouton 1 and 2, and lost him. The Brewers are not out of this game in my mind. It's a 5-run game here at the bottom of the order. You turn this lineup over and get toward the middle of it, and they can get some runs on you in a hurry. The Pennzoil protection play from tonight's game.
Thank goodness he had a helmet.
Yeah. I just glanced off the top of it, and Mouton is thrilled that he mainly got out of the way of that pitch. So 1 on, nobody out. Play behind Mouton, as you can see, and Sweeney takes a strike.
Well, you touched on it with just giving scores around the National League tonight. Even though it's a 5-run lead, there is no lead that's comfortable this evening.
Here's an 0-1. 0-2. So again, Timlin gets out in front. American League, Cleveland over Kansas City 11-2. Boston beat Tampa Bay 7-2. Toronto at home over Baltimore 8-5. The Yankees all over the White Sox 11-2 in the 8th inning there. Oakland leads at Texas 3-2. They're in the middle inning, 6th inning. There's strike 3 over the outside corner with 1 out. We'll check in with the guys in the studio. The Midwest Sports Report coming up right after this game, and for more on that, we check in with Rob King and Pat Paris.
I'm Pat Paris. Join Rob King and myself tonight after the game. We'll take a look at the NFL playoff changes. We'll update the wild card race, and who's the toughest out in baseball. We'll find out after the game on the Midwest Sports Report. Now back to Joe and Al.
All right, Pat, thanks. 1 on, 1 out here, and Alex Sanchez bats. And Polanco in the game at short. They get 1, and that's all. Ooh. Lucky to get 1, and Mouton was so intent on breaking up the double play. That looked a lot closer than I think Mouton thought it was going to be.
I thought it was safe.
You could also say that. The play of the game is brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up but never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. Albert Pujols, a 5 RBI night. The last 3 came on this 3-run home run that he hit back in the 3rd. So 117 RBIs in the air for the rookie. Another curtain call, as he did here in the home opener. And now the Cardinals are 1 out away from their 2nd win of this series. A chance to sweep tomorrow behind the 19-game winner, Matt Morris. With a win, the Cardinals at the moment will be a half game up on the Giants in the wild card and only 4 out in the division behind Houston. Strike 1. After tomorrow's game, the Cardinals will go to Pittsburgh. And a 3-game set in Houston. And then back home. The 0-1. That should do it. Vina with a flip. Cardinals win 9-4. A real good start to this series.
Absolutely, Joe. But this ball club is doing what it has to do. You win the game you're playing currently. You won the first 2 games of the series. Now you need to win tomorrow morning and then go on to Pittsburgh and take care of business there.
A lot of the same guys did it tonight that did it last night. Pitching again, part of the equation. The Cardinals win it 9-4, and they are 81-64 and lead the wild card. Let's go to the Midwest Sports Report now.